Member Oak Bay Gordon Head.
Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I'm sure every member of this House will agree that a stable regulatory environment is key to maintaining BC's reputation as a welcoming place to do business. This means that the approval of natural resource projects must be based on scientific evidence and not politics. Yet in 2012, Honourable Speaker, upon recommendation from the Executive Director of the Environmental Assessment Office, the BC Liberals rejected the Morrison mine project proposed by Pacific Booker Minerals, despite it having received a positive environmental assessment. In justifying their decision, Honourable Speaker, they cited environmental concerns about the effects of the mine on water quality in Morrison Lake and local salmon populations, despite already having a positive environmental assessment. And despite their rejection of the Pacific Booker project, in 2013, the BC Liberals went to Ottawa to lobby the federal government to approve the Prosperity Mine, a project that had received 2 negative assessments by federal review panels. There's some suspicion, Honourable Speaker, that the decision around the Morrison mine had less to do with environmental concerns and more to do with political calculation. My question is to the Minister of Energy, Mines and Petroleum Resources. Has this government been able to determine why this company was treated so differently from others at the time, and how will it prevent situations like this from happening in the future?
Minister of Energy, Mines and Petroleum Resources.
I'd like to thank the member for Oak Bay Gordon Head for his question. I'm sure the member will appreciate that I'm not in a position to advise what led the former government to make its decision about the proposed Morrison mine. What I can say, though, that their approach was short-sighted and certainly didn't bring certainty to the sector. Our government has taken a different approach. My predecessor as minister initiated the Mining Jobs Task Force, which worked hard with First Nations, industry and communities to find ways to strengthen this fundamental foundational industry. There were 25 recommendations emanating from the task force. They've all been accepted by government, and almost all of them have now been implemented. We have made 2 mining tax credits permanent, bringing immediate benefits to the BC mineral exploration sector by adding more certainty. We've invested $1 million for the Mining Innovation Roadmap, $1 million for the Regional Mining Alliance, and just as further evidence of the strengthening of the sector, the BC Ontario Teachers Pension Plan just signed a $300 million investment deal to provide an investment in the new Afton mine just outside the civic boundaries of Kamloops.
Member Oak Bay Gordon Head on a supplemental.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I must admit that was a lot of information about a lot of mines that weren't the mine I'm actually talking about. Maybe I can try again, Honourable Speaker. A key element of the previous government's unrealistic strategy for natural resource development revolved around, as we all know, LNG. We know that certain natural gas projects were located in areas close to the Morrison mine. Comments from groups engaged in the Pacific Booker project have indicated that the province was facing significant pressure to avoid reopening discussions around the Morrison mine in order to obtain the support necessary for the Prince Rupert gas transmission line. The decision to reject the project had serious repercussions for Pacific Booker. Their share price plummeted from $14.95 to $4.95 in one day, and many investors lost their life savings. What's more, Honourable Speaker, is that the ministry failed to inform Pacific Booker of its intention to issue an adverse recommendation and did not provide the company with an opportunity to respond to it. After a legal battle, Honourable Speaker, in which the Supreme Court found that this conduct violated standards of procedural fairness and that the Environmental Assessment Office recommendation be presented to Cabinet for reconsideration, the government once again rejected the project in order to undergo further assessment. However, Honourable Speaker, in its order, the government appeared to issue unclear directions that substantially delayed the process. As of 2019 in September, Honourable Speaker,
members.
As of September 2019, Honourable Speaker, Pacific Booker had yet to be fully provided with this opportunity. My question again is to the Minister of Energy, Mines and Petroleum Resources. When is this firm going to have the chance to have their project undergo further assessment as put forward by the Supreme Court?
Minister, Energy, Mines and Petroleum Resources.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The short answer is the company is currently working through the required regulatory processes for further assessment. The further assessment for the proposed project includes the requirement for a supplemental application information requirement. There are a number of requirements. The EAO continues to work with the company on this, and I'm advised that the latest submission was received by the EAO in December 2019.